The first tool is you have to be able to change the negative mindset. And by the way, this is the step most people skip. They try to go right to the positive mindset and they don't realize there's something before it. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. I'm going to teach you how to get out of the negative what if downing that we talked about a minute ago. And then the second thing is you need to develop the ability to create instantly a new positive mindset. And if you think about it, it's not that complicated. It's just that the negative mindset is so strong that it's running us. Particularly if you've been doing the entrepreneurial thing for a month or 3 months or 6 months or more, the longer you've been doing it, deeper the negative what if down pathways are. Okay. The good news is it doesn't take long to change them, but we have to address that first. And the challenge is we focus when we're trying to shift, we focus and think we need to just create a success mindset. We walked Patrick Mahomes, again, one of my favorite football players. He throws an interception, he drops the ball, and he shifts and he has the ability to go right back out there and game on. And we assume that he just created a success mindset. That isn't what athletes do. As I started studying them, they don't start there. What they do first is they alter the negative program first. And each of them have slightly different ways of these great athletes and great entrepreneurs and great leaders. They all have different ways of doing it. I've boiled it down to a really simple tool that I'm going to teach you. They alter the negative program first. After they're out of the what if down loop, then they install the new success mindset. If you think about it, that's what we're doing wrong. We're trying to jump to a success mindset before we've altered the negative program. So how do you alter the negative program? That's where we have to start. Well, all of our negative programs live, and I mean live, they're taking rent up in a spot in your brain called the amygdala. And what the amygdala does is it processes emotions, fears, anxiety, and it links them to old memories. Well, and it's going to link you back to that time that you failed in 7th grade when you ran for student council. And it's going to take you back to the time you didn't get picked for the kickball team when you were in 3rd grade. It's got these old memories and it's got the emotions linked to them, and it creates programs that your brain is now replaying. So think about when something goes wrong, you don't win a proposal, or you don't get a lead that week, or pick any of it. And that what if downing starts. And the next thing you know, you're not just thinking about this current failure, you're thinking about last week's failure and last month's failure. And what if I was lucky 3 years ago? And then you're thinking about childhood, you've got this memory bank of these perceived failures and challenges stuck in the amygdala. It's literally taking rent in your head. And there's 5 negative programs. 5, okay? The first one, and the most common, because I did a research project on this about 10 years ago, is I'm not good enough. 98% of all people that I surveyed, was thousands and thousands of people were surveyed when I was studying this, had this program in their amygdala. So we all have this. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not pretty enough. Yada, 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 yada. I'm not enough. The second program, sorry for the dog barking, is the I can't program. And if you've been, sorry, my dog is very loud. If you've been stuck in a negative program for a while, the powerless program takes over. And then you start saying, I can't do this anymore. I can't do sales. I can't do lead gen. I can't do networking one more time. And that I'm not good enough starts growing into a second program, and it's the I can't program. It's powerless. The third one is sneaky. The third program is what I call the Atlas program. And the Atlas program is where we feel like we're going to take the world on our shoulders. I have to do this. I have to do that. I have to do this. I have to do that. And then program 4 is the failure program. Here I go again. I'm doing it again. Here I go. And, and boom, boom, boom. And then the 5th one is I call the imposter program. And the imposter program is, who am I to think I can start this business? Who am I to think I'm an expert at coaching? Who am I to think I'm this? Who am I? And so some combination of these negative programs are running in the amygdala, and they're running constantly. And every time something doesn't work the way that we want, which as an entrepreneur is a vast majority of the time, one of these programs kicks in and it's running us. And yet we're over here thinking, I just need to shift my mindset. But this program is like, and it's running like in 10th gear. So if you think a gear shift, it's running. And you're over here trying to think positive. No. We got to stop the negative program first. So the first tool I'm going to teach you today is how to do that very quickly. It doesn't take long. It just has to be a little bit of repetition and a very specific process to switch the amygdala off. We have to turn it off, and we have to activate another part of our brain to override the amygdala to get these negative programs to stop. Okay? So that's what you're going to learn how to do in a minute. So what we're going to do, and I call it the success switch, is we're going to switch off the amygdala, which is running this negative program that's got this bank, this reservoir bank of all of our failures in the past that it's regurgitating. And we're going to turn on the prefrontal cortex, which regulates our thoughts, interactions, and emotions. And we're going to use the prefrontal cortex to reprogram the amygdala, basically. And we're going to activate the prefrontal cortex using our body, using our parasympathetic nervous system to override that negative program and begin to reprogram it. And again, it doesn't take long, as you'll see, and it's very simple. So that's what I'm going to show you how to do. I call it the success switch. And the key is you have to do this first. So I have to turn off the negative program before I can build a new pathway with a positive program in it. And it's 3 steps. I'm going to have you do the 3 steps separately, and then I'm going to have you do them together. And that's going to be how you'll learn it. So step number 1, the amygdala is dumb. It is the dumb part of the brain. It is running on autopilot. And so it's not hard to reprogram. It's got that story in there that's running. But the amygdala, because it's dumb, it either rides on this historical yada, 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 or it takes direction from the boss of the brain, which is the prefrontal cortex. So we got to switch the amygdala off, and we have to activate the prefrontal cortex, and the prefrontal cortex is going to reinstall a new program in the amygdala. Okay? So step number 1, again, we're going to do the 3 steps separately, and then you're going to put them together. Is you're going to acknowledge the negative program. And the way that you do that, and I want you to make sure you're on mute and do that with me, is you say, the truth is I feel, and whatever comes up, comes up. So do that with me now. Make sure you're on mute. The truth is I feel frustrated, scared, anxious, whatever it is, whatever comes up, comes up. No judgment. Don't even wonder why it's there. It doesn't matter. And then pause for about 20 seconds. So do that with me now. The truth is I feel, and pause and wait. I'll tell you what's going to happen next. So you're probably noticing your brain and your thoughts slowing down. When you say that phrase, the truth is I feel, the amygdala says, oh, you heard me. It's time for new information. I will start downshifting, and I'll stop running this program, downshift, and it goes into neutral. And it takes somewhere between 15 to 30 seconds, depending on how strong and how fast it's running. Not very long. 15 to 30 seconds of that pause, and the amygdala goes into neutral, and it stops running that negative, I can't program, I'm not good enough program, whatever it is. That's all it takes, 15 to 30 seconds. Again, we're going to do it all together in a minute, but I just want you to get that first step. So that's step number 1 of this first part. Now, step number 2 is the amygdala is now paused so it can take new information. When it's running really fast and running the negative program, it can't take new information. So now we're going to put the boss of the brain in charge, the prefrontal cortex, and we're going to activate what's called the parasympathetic nervous system to wake the prefrontal cortex up and say, dude, you're the general of the brain. You're the captain of my ship. Get back in charge of this crazy thing called my brain. And the way that you do that is breathing a certain way. It's very simple. You breathe in through the nose and out of your mouth. Pause. You'll notice with that first breath, you might feel a little lightheaded. What's happening is the prefrontal cortex just switched on. And when you breathe like that in through your nose and out of your mouth, it turns on your parasympathetic nervous system and it starts dumping dopamine and serotonin hormones into your bloodstream. So that's why you feel that little bit of a kind of lightheadedness. Breath number 2, same breath. All 4 breaths are the same breath. In through your nose, nice and deep. And out of your mouth. With breath 2, you can feel your blood pressure coming down. Breath 3, just a little bit deeper. Wow. And then breath 4 is just ah. In through the nose and out of the mouth. Ah. What's happened now with step 2 is the amygdala is off. The prefrontal cortex is on. Your parasympathetic nervous system, which is a very important piece of stress reduction, is now turned on. It is released hormones, serotonin and dopamine in particular, into your bloodstream, which start going into the amygdala, and it makes it very squishy and very programmable. I can't say that word. And so that's step 2. So right now, your amygdala is relaxed. Your body is relaxed. Your parasympathetic nervous system is now dominant. And the amygdala will take whatever you give it, whatever the prefrontal cortex gives it right now, and it will hold it. And basically creates a new program. So that's step 3. Step 3 is we're going to claim a new belief, a new empowering thought. So it's the opposite of whatever came up, whatever program's running you. I am good enough. I can do this. I am the captain of my ship. It doesn't matter what you say. It's claiming the opposite of that negative program. I can do this. Oh, yes, I can. You better believe it. And now you're just kind of allowing yourself, kind of putting a little power into it. I like to give myself a couple little rocky punches. And now the amygdala is now taking in this new direction from the boss of the brain, the prefrontal cortex. And it's like, oh, it's time to get our power game on. You'll notice you feel completely different. Let's do the 3 things all together. You'll see just how ridiculously easy this is. I call this first step. This is all the first step of called the success switch. And we're switching off the amygdala. We're switching on the prefrontal cortex. And then we're programming the amygdala to relax and take direction. Okay. So let's do it all together. It's ABC. Now I like to keep stuff very simple. I'm a simple person. The truth is I feel. Whatever comes up, comes up. Truth is I feel a little bit better. No judgment. Pause for 15 to 30 seconds. The truth is I feel, pause. When you feel the amygdala go into neutral, which is a lot easier the second time than it was the first, turn on the prefrontal cortex and the parasympathetic nervous system. 4 breaths, same breaths, in through the nose and out of your mouth. Nice and slow. First breath, you feel lightheaded, a little deeper each time. Second breath, feel your blood pressure coming down. Breath 3. And then breath 4. Ah. Prefrontal cortex is in charge. The amygdala's got all of this dopamine and serotonin. It's easy to program. Claim a new belief. Visualize it. Yes, I can. Oh, yeah, a little Rocky Punch. Yes, I can. I got this. Oh, mine, excuse me, I cuss on Thursdays. Oh, hell yeah. That's mine right now. Sorry, I shouldn't cuss, but I did. And now we just interrupted negative program first. We have to alter the negative program first before do the second part of what I call Success Accelerator, where we're going to create a new dominant. Right now, we've got a lightly dominant program in there. We're going to make a powerful dominant program, and we're going to create it, and it's going to be strong. But the key is you have to alter the negative program first. And that's what we just did. So you can already tell that you're feeling it right now. Like, whoa, this is great. Now we're going to build a new dominant success program that is going to be bulletproof. All right. So how do you do that? Well, you have to understand how the brain works. The brain works through something called neuroplasticity. And what neuroplasticity is a series of connections that the brain is interfacing with the body and with the various components in the brain. And you either got an I can neuroplasticity track, or you have an I'm afraid I can't neuroplasticity track. And when you're an entrepreneur, guess which one gets stronger? The I'm afraid, I can't, I don't know how. We've got to build, using neuroplasticity, a strong, powerful network and retrain our brain. We have to turn that positive program on. The cool thing, a couple of years ago, I tested this. All you got to do is do this twice a day for 7 days. The first part that we just did and the second part I'm going to give you, and you will instill a new, powerful success mindset. Okay, so how do you do that? Well, first of all, to prove it to yourself, you're going to set a goal 1 week from now, because y'all are going to do this and I'm going to follow up with you. You're going to set a goal because the brain needs a target. And so what would you like to have happen? I want a new client. I want 2 new leads. I want an extra amount of money for 7 days. Okay. So set a goal and make it be something that is like a little scary, but cool. Right. So you got to have a goal because the brain needs the picture of the goal. Now I want to caution you, entrepreneurial goals are guideposts, not endpoints. So what that means is it's not about hitting the goal or missing the goal. I'm good, I'm bad. All it is about guiding your brain. If you look at the goal, if you look at this goal that we're setting as success or failure, it's not going to work. So you've got to look at it as, am I better at this or am I not? Am I better at this or am I not? Is my mindset better or is it not? Don't lower the goal. Please don't lower the goal. So I'm going to say, everybody on here, I want you to say, I'm going to get 1 new client in the next 7 days, just to make it nice and specific. But it's not about getting the client. It's about, am I better and stronger in my mind or not? Okay, so that's what we mean by guidepost. Not, hey, it's 5 days away, I'm scared, and I'm hoping I'm going to get a client. We're not going to change the goal. It's like, I want 1 new client in 7 days, but just look at it as a guidepost to gauge how effective is your brain and your ability to use this program. Consider this goal as an intention for what you want. And an intention is power. I'm putting power in it. So you got to have a goal. Everybody set a goal with me. I'm going to give you about 30 seconds to do that. And I want it to be something that scares you just a little bit, but not feel like you're a failure if you don't hit it. So you can make it something simple like, I want to meet 2 new prospects, or make it be a client or something 7 days from now. And if you need to be safe and do it 2 weeks from now, you can. Doesn't matter. Everybody set a goal. I'm going to give you about 15 to 20 seconds to do that, and then I'm going to give you the steps. All right, so we got a goal. 3 pieces. The first one is, you need a mantra to capture the belief that the goal can and will happen. Think about those athletes. Think about Richard Branson. You've got to have a mantra that you can repeat over and over again. I can. I've got this. Yes, baby. Oh, hell yeah. Like, that's mine right now. Oh, hell yeah. Yes, I can. Something along the lines, and make it be something that's truly meaningful to you, that just grabs you. So the mantra, we're going to instill this mantra in the prefrontal cortex and in the amygdala with a mind-body connection, and we're going to reach for it every time we're afraid. We're going to reach for that mantra. So we have a goal, we have the mantra, and so what's your mantra? So it'll give you about 15 to 20 seconds to grab that mantra. Anything you want, whatever feels good and powerful. Not the mantra. Second part is, you have to shift your mood. This part was the missing piece for me for the longest time. I can do the mantra. I was trained under Tony Robbins. I didn't really understand, though, the power of our mood. And if you think about it, when we're afraid and when things feel like they're not working, what happens to our body language? Our shoulders droop, or we're not smiling as often. We're a little more down. Maybe we're in bed, or we're watching a little more TV, or any of that, and we don't feel in our power. And then we let that physical reality manifest and basically convince our brain that we're failing. Our body is what convinces our brain that we're failing. Let me say that again. Our body is what convinces our brain that we're failing. It's not the external event. The external event triggers the amygdala to tell the I can't story, or I'm not good enough story. But what starts to happen is then our shoulders start to droop, and we stop smiling, and we start getting down in the dumps. And then that physiological reaction strengthens the neuroplasticity of the brain and convinces the brain that we're in a failure story. We got to change that. So we've got to find ways to alter our mood. I'm going to talk about how to do that. Smiling and clapping and jumping up and down and just saying, use that mantra. Oh, yes, I can, baby. Oh, yes, I can. And you use your body to shift your mood. And then your mood is what stalls the program in the brain. It's that simple. Okay. So that's the piece. And what mood does, mood builds what Tony Robbins calls a state of certainty. And it's either a positive state of certainty or a negative state of certainty. A positive state of certainty is what we want. It's a relaxed state of trusting combined with an expectation we have the power to create what we want. Most of the time as founders, we are in a negative state of certainty. We are what if downing. If you think about it, more than 50% of the time as founders, we are in a negative state of certainty where we're convinced that we're going to fail and we can't do this and we're going to run out of money and we got to go get a job and yada, all those stories, right? We got to change that. And mood is what builds a positive state of certainty. So you're not going to allow yourself for the next week to be in a negative state of certainty. You're going to change that. And you build it with just focus and practice. I'm going to give you my go-to mechanism for changing my mood. Y'all are going to think I'm crazy, but I don't care. I just start laughing out loud. So something goes wrong. I lose a client. The loop starts. And I catch myself doing it, and do it with me. You're going to see exactly how powerful this is. And I just start laughing. Do it with, oh my God. I can't believe I lost my client. Boy, that makes me unprofitable for the month. What was I thinking? It doesn't even matter what I'm saying. The laughter altered. And look, I'm smiling again. My shoulders are popping back. Laughing out loud and being silly is one of the fastest ways to shift your mood. It works for me every single time. Every single time. When I can shift myself back into a positive by just being a fool and laughing out loud. And again, do it. Do it for just 5 seconds. Ready, set, go. Start laughing out loud. Here, you're crazy. That's 3 seconds. In your mood shift, that was 5 seconds. Okay. And there's other ways you can do it. Find what works for you. But the laughing out loud is the best way to shift the mood. Well, guess what? Your body right now is reprogramming the amygdala to be in a positive state of certainty. Think about how you feel right now. Do you feel like you can hit that goal? You do. Doesn't matter about that lost client. We just laughed it off. Think about those athletes. That's what they're doing. They're breathing when they go to the sideline after Patrick Mahomes throws an interception, and they're resetting their amygdala. And then they're starting to smile. They're slapping each other, on the back. Well, that was funny. Yeah, let's go out there and do it again. And they're shifting their mood, and they're getting themselves back into a positive state of certainty. And then when Patrick Mahomes, except for the Super Bowl last year, went right out there most of the time, except last year, he forgot this, and throws a touchdown, right? Because he's able to shift. And they do it by putting this state of certainty in place by something silly, laughing, smiling, jumping up and down, punching each other, whatever. So that's it. So mood is number 2. We have a goal. We have a mantra. Yes, I can. Oh, yes, I can, girl. I got this. We use something to shift our energy and mood. For me, the go-to is laughing out loud, crazy. And then the last thing, ironically, is moving your body. When you move your body, you actually seal in the new belief and the new mood. And you can do it lots of different ways. I do it with music and dance. You can do Rocky punches. You can jump up and down. You can clap. Doesn't matter. But the movement in your body, there's tons of research behind this, guys. Tons and tons of research behind this. So it's just adding a little bit of movement. Again, this doesn't take very long. Mantra, mood, move. And this combination seals in the new belief and creates a feeling of certainty around the goal. Okay. So mantra, you're going to have a mantra. Hopefully you've got yours. Mood. If you don't have anything that works for you, do the laughing out loud. And movement. And oh, by the way, if you add music, it will speed up success. Okay. I'm not going to have time for that today. But that's it. So here's what you're going to do. And I'm going to email all of you guys, and we're going to see how you're doing. You got to alter the negative program first. So that's the first step with those ABCs. Then you're going to create the new success mindset, just like we talked about: goal, mantra, mood, movement. And if you add music to it, it happens even faster. All you got to do is do it twice a day, these 2 practices for 7 days. I'm going to follow up with you. And if you do it, you will either hit the goal or you will be darn close. But more importantly, your mindset will have shifted. The negative program will be almost eliminated. The new program will be installed. And shortly after, you'll hit the goal. It's that simple. I'll wrap up and just say we're a place where founders gather and grow. 86.3% of our members more than double since joining. We serve people all the way from 0 at $235 a month up to $30K a month. At $30K a month, it goes up to $270 a month. For those of you that are above 2 million, it's $390 a month. Very affordable, ridiculously effective. And if you want to join us, please do.